Okay, so now we're going to go over today's work or homework, and I'm going to start with 6-64. In this first one, it's an error analysis. It's basically asking, is Katie correct or is Kevin correct? So what happens is if you look here, Kevin substitutes in 6x minus 1. He plugs that in the place where x is in the equation. And if you look at Katie, Katie plugs in 6x minus 1, this 6x minus 1, where the y is in this equation. So they both did it in separate spots. Well, if you look carefully, we have that y is equal to 6x minus 1. So where we can plug in the 6x minus 1 is into the y, because y is equal to that. So Katie is correct and Kevin is not correct. Okay, moving on to 6-84. In this one, they're asking you in part A and then in part B, but they're asking you in part A to go through and use substitution to solve. So what I did is exactly that. Where there is a y in this one, I plugged in negative x plus 8 because y is equal to this. So I took that and plugged it in here. So we have negative x plus 8 is equal to x minus 2. I go through and I solve that. I get x equals 5. And I have to plug in 5 for x to get my y. You should have 5, 3, or x is 5, y is 3. For the next one, in B, this is already solved for y, the bottom one. So I'm going to take this negative 4x plus 2 and plug it in for y right there. Okay, so that's what you see me doing here in my work. I plugged in that negative 4x plus 2 for y. I distributed that negative to both of them. And then I cleaned it up a little bit and I got x is 2. I now take that 2 and plug it in where there's an x in one of the equations. And I get y is equal to negative 6. Okay, continuing with that same theme on 95. You'll notice this one is already solved for x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, since x is equal to this, I'm going to take that 8 minus 2y and I'm going to plug it in for x right there. Okay, so that's what you see me doing here. I took that 8 minus 2y and I plugged it in for x right there. So I get y minus the 8 minus 2y. And now I'm going to distribute that negative sign to both of them. And you solve and you should get y equals 4. Then you plug that 4 in. Okay, you plug that 4 into one of them. So for that one, since I'm plugging in 4 here, I'm going to do 8 minus 2 times 4, which ends up being actually 8 minus 8. We get 0. So 0, 4 is my answer to that one. I'm going to choose that one to take a pause really quick and open Desmos to see if we got it right. This is an easy way to tell if I got it right or not. I'm going to plug in x equals 8 minus 2y. In my other one, I'm going to graph y minus x is equal to 4. They should meet at 0, 4 if I did the math correctly. And sure enough, they do. Then I know for certain that this is the right answer. It's always good to double check yourself in Desmos. Okay, I'm going to go back and do the last problem. It's the same exact type of problem. It's solved for x already, so that means wherever there's an x in this one, I'm going to plug in negative 2y minus 3, substitute that in right there. And when you do that, here's my work for it. You'll notice I plug that in right there. Okay, it's plugged in instead, and then I distribute, I go through and I get y is equal to 1. When I plug that back in, you should get x is equal to negative 5.